Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Damme, and I've got a special episode today where I'm going to tell you my Oscar predictions and tell you how a movie like Black Panther could possibly win Best Picture. So the Oscar nominations just got announced. In this video, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm really going to focus on the Best Picture category. I'm going to give you my predictions, and I'll dive into some of the other categories because what I see in the other categories sort of indicates what might win. And then I'll explain how a movie like Black Panther could possibly win and why it should definitely not win. So real quick, let's just list them off. The nominees are Green Book, which I've heard a lot of good things about. It is showing up in a lot of other categories, so I think the odds are really good for that. We've got Black Klansman, we've got Black Panther, we've got The Favorite, Roma, A Star is Born, Vice, and believe it or not, Bohemian Rhapsody. I honestly don't know what this one's doing here. If you did not see anything that I posted about Bohemian Rhapsody, there's a link in the description, but the director has a barrage of sex abuse allegations against him. Yes, he was fired 3 weeks before the filming ended. However, Bryan Singer has a long history, a 20 years long history of being associated with sex abuse of young men. And I don't understand how in the year of Me Too, this gets completely overlooked. You may have a difference of opinion, but I can guarantee if his accusers were women, this movie would not be nominated for maybe anything, but at the very least would not be nominated for Best Picture. So that one's out. I am not predicting that that one's going to win, and I honestly don't think that it will. I think there's going to be too much stink associated with this, and it's not very often that the Golden Globe Best Picture winner, which this one got, also wins the Academy Award. Now, I really liked A Star is Born. I did a full review here. I'll link to that in the description as well. But it is not my type of movie. It's not really the type of movie that I would seek out. And I thought it was brilliantly executed, especially for a first-time director, Bradley Cooper. I think he killed it. The movie was entertaining. It was emotional. It kept the ball moving. It had all the elements that a good movie should have. And out of all the ones on this list, even though it's like a 5th iteration remake, I think this version is going to be one that people watch and talk about for the longest after the Oscars end, which is why it's my pick for Best Picture out of the nominations at least. Roma, Netflix is pushing hard. So if you don't know, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but the Oscar race is very political, not in a politics sense, but there's a lot of campaigning to get your movie to win. So the studios put a lot of money into the campaigns. Netflix has put tens of millions of dollars into getting Roma nominated and potentially, selected for Best Picture. I do not think it's going to happen only because it's also selected in the Best Foreign Language Film category. I sort of expect it to win there in place of winning for Best Picture. It's certainly not going to win both, and I think that's probably what we're going to see Oscar night. I'll also be surprised if it does not pick up a Best Actress win. I think she did a great job in the movie, and based on the other candidates that are up, I'm going to be surprised if she doesn't take it. That's probably going to be the buzz leading up to the Oscars. I have not heard that yet, but that's my early prediction. I will say I'm a little disappointed that Isle of Dogs is not included. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. It is nominated for Best Animated Feature. I'm honestly going to be surprised if it wins. I hope it does. I think it deserves it. But really and truly, it is a better film than Black Panther. So let's move on to Black Panther and talk about kind of what's happening there, why it's included. I know a lot of people are confused. And the reason you're probably confused is because even if you like Black Panther, which I liked it, it's basically just a Marvel movie. It is special in the sense that it's an almost all black cast. The writer, director, it's special in that sense. And then it's also special And then it does have its own style. So I'll actually be surprised if it doesn't win, maybe not necessarily technical stuff, but more the artistic stuff like production design, things like that. If it doesn't win some of the visual based awards that it is nominated for, I'll be surprised if it doesn't pick up one or two. I think it definitely deserves maybe something for production design or costume design. Now, I definitely do not think it deserves to win Best Picture. In fact, I'm really not in love with most of these, but how could it win? So when it comes to the Academy, you're talking about roughly 8,000 people, and it's actors, it's filmmakers, it's different people and crews, it's producers, it's technical people. That is the Academy, and they all vote on all of the categories. Now, not everyone votes on every single category. You have to see these films multiple times in a screened environment, meaning you have to go to a theater under supervision. It has to be presented to you by the studio multiple times in many cases, in many categories rather, and that's how you're able to vote. And most of the voting, everyone votes on Best Picture. But whereas all the other ones take the winner, the clear winner, whoever got the most votes, the Best Picture does not. So we have 8 nominees this year, which is weird. I thought they were going to stick with 10. I don't know. But we have 8. By the way, the Academy doesn't even really want Black Panther to win. The only reason it's included is because they want viewership. Less and less people are watching the Academy Awards, and they make money off of the viewership. They want eyeballs. The same reason the Grammy Awards doesn't really award the best music. They just award they award the top 40. It's the top 40 awards, basically. The Academy Awards wants to do the same thing. They want to include very popular movies so that people at home are interested and will watch. That's why Black Panther is here, but it could still totally win. It could easily win because the movie with the most votes does not get selected. You have to have a majority. So you have to have 51% of the votes out of 8. And it's very unlikely that the one with the most votes is going to get 50% on the first pass. So what do? The Academy members don't actually vote for their favorite. They sort of do. What they do is they rank them. They put them in numerical order 1 through 8, 8 being the lowest on the totem pole for them. So they have to actually watch all of these multiple times and then rank them. So now that I've got all my movies ranked, let's say that A Star is Born gets 40% of the vote. It's an overwhelming majority compared to how many the other ones get. They all get 20, 10%. That none of them come close to 40. But A Star is Born gets 40, and it's not enough. What they do is that one cannot win because it didn't get 50%. And they scratch it out, and then everyone that voted for A Star is Born as their #1 pick, it gets cast out and it dials down to their second pick. Then they all get tallied up again because it repeats itself over and over again. Their next pick, their third pick comes in and it dials back down and down until you get an average, and so some people, their #1 pick is still in play because it was never the #1 pick. And then it starts to balance out. And so they basically just shave it down. And ultimately what you're going to get is you're going to get something sort of in the middle of the pack. From that first vote, when everything came together, you're going to get something that landed somewhere in the middle by the time they shave it down to get a majority, unless there's just an overwhelming consensus on the first pass. So what you end up getting is this sort of competition for the least disliked movie. And what happens is there's heavy campaigning, silent campaigning, called whisper campaigns that basically are people bashing the other nominees. Now, this is things that slip out in the news. There's all sorts of stories. Last year with The Shape of Water, there was a story that completely ripped off another movie. It was a fabricated story, but it sort of made its way into the media just to put doubt in people's minds and put it lower on their list so that it does not get a chance of winning. It still won. It didn't work, but that happens like crazy. So to me, the Academy Awards, especially the Best Picture, is completely illegitimate. It has no real artistic merit to it. It's kind of just a goofball thing. It's great. They get to pat themselves on the back. The movie that wins, that studio is going to make more money. The movie itself is going to make more money because everyone's going to go out to see it thinking it's got to be the best. But if you've ever heard of a movie winning Best Picture, you rushed out to see it or you bought it on Blu-ray and then you were scratching your head and you were confused wondering how did that win Best Picture? this is how. This is how they've been doing it for a very, very long time, and they have no signs of stopping. It's just how they do it. My opinion is that the Academy Awards is not for mass audiences. Even though they try to sell it as that and they want you to watch because they want the ad revenue, it's not really for us, which is why I'm doing the Flicky Awards. I did it last year, had a ball, had way too many Miller Lights, but I had a lot of fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put forth my own nominations based on my knowledge, my experience, but I'm going to float those out to you, the Flick Connection community, and you are going to vote. And the voting is going to take place here on YouTube. It's going to take place on Instagram. So be sure to follow me on Instagram if you don't already. There's a link to that in the description. And look forward to the announcement of the nominees, and then look forward to Academy Award weekend. I'm going to be launching the video of the Flicky Awards. It was one of the most fun videos I did last year. It should be even more fun this year, so look forward to that. Thanks for checking this one out. Let me know what you think about the Academy Awards and what movie you want to win in the comments below. But I will keep making my regular content as long as you keep watching it. But thanks for checking out this special episode, and you will see me on the next one.